And we really love, how you talk about the different characteristics that you would want in your bahu. But that, do you think it's right to sort of, have a very calculated approach towards love? I mean, assisted marriage, forced marriage is a calculated approach.
Forced marriage and assisted marriage are two completely different things. And in the beginning, because of the kind of progressive background I've come from, I didn't understand that idea. But the thing is, I see around me so many happy, successful marriages
which have arranged.
That have been arranged. The film, as the title suggests, says, "What's love got to do with it?" And although it's been touted as a rom-com, it's much more than that, because what it does is really promotes inclusivity. What cinema does, particularly for the actors, is gives you a chance to inhabit worlds which you would not normally do, and then create empathy and enrich your experience. And I'm very grateful for being an actor.
You ever played a negative character or had negative thoughts? Does that you bring the negative things home with you? If you don't mind me asking?
Yes. And what is very disconcerting is you realize that you have all that within you.
In fact, we love you as a doting mother. Somewhere I felt that there was also a little bit of Raja Beta culture. वो मतलब है ना थोड़ा कि मेरा बेटा पीता नहीं है, smoke नहीं करता है. There's a sequence where you say that.
Oh, absolutely. It's the typical Asian way of saying, my son can do no wrong.
Joining us today, all the way from Jeddah, is the cast of What's Love Got to Do With It. Yes, joining us today is Shabana ma'am. And I would not introduce him. I want him to introduce himself.
My name is Jeff Mirza. I do acting. I'm playing Zayed Khan in this movie.
Yes, and this is a film that has left an indelible impact on all the viewers. It was screened on the opening night of the ceremony, and there's a lot to learn from it. Let's in fact have Shabana ma'am to speak about the film.
Hello, I'm delighted to be here at the Red Sea International Film Festival, and particularly because our film, directed by Shekhar Kapoor, written by Jemima Khan, starring Emma Thompson, Lily James, and us as Shahzad Latif
and Shabana Azmi. Last but not least.
So to have it premiering and opening the festival is such a big honor, and I'm so delighted to see that it has won so much appreciation from the audience, which has been our experience also in Toronto before this and in Rome. But the film, as the title suggests, says, "What's love got to do with it?" And although it's being touted as a rom-com, it's much more than that, because what it does is really promotes inclusivity. And what it shows is, in a very comical way, that the differences that exist between an English neighborhood and an Asian neighborhood with a large Pakistani family, there seem to be differences, but what it actually does is unites people and brings them together. And I think in today's day, when we're watching so much divisiveness, so much strife, to have a film that celebrates love is an idea whose time has come.
It's an anti-hate.
And that's what we need right now, don't we?
We need more love. We need less hatred. The internet has brought us all together in a way, but unfortunately it's allowed bad people to amplify their message, and I think this is a good way to counter it. Just through cinema, just by people seeing this movie, they'll come out with a warm, glowing feeling, happy, glad to be alive.
Right. Shabana ma'am, you've done so many successful films. I mean, we've loved you in all your films, and also a lot of love films. So I wanted to understand that, has any of these films, or has all your films helped you also become a better partner, especially with love films?
I hope so. Because, when you're working in film, you cannot treat it like a 9-to-6 job and feel that none of the residue of the characters or the stories that you're playing will actually impact your life. So I think what cinema does, particularly for the actors, is gives you a chance to inhabit worlds which you would not normally do, and then create empathy and enrich your experience. And I'm very grateful for being an actor.
And have you also become more self-aware with the different characters that you've played on the big screen?
I think that's the inevitable fallout of inhabiting worlds of other characters, and I think it helps enrich you as a person too. I think it works both ways, because when you get enriched as a person and your experience widens, then you also lend to your characters more than what is just written in the script.
Right, can I just ask you, if you ever played a negative character and had negative thoughts, do you bring the negative things home with you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes, and what is very disconcerting is you realize that you have all that within you.
Oh.
You see, you feel very happy when you play noble and lovely and all that, but when you realize that from within you also are capable of really nastiness, that's very unsettling.
Right.
By the way, there's no nastiness in this
Yes,
movie.
there's no nastiness for sure. In fact, we love you as a doting mother. Somewhere I felt that there was also a little bit of Raja Beta culture. वो मतलब है ना थोड़ा कि मेरा बेटा पीता नहीं है, smoke नहीं करता है. There's a sequence where you say that.
Oh, absolutely. It's the typical Asian way of saying my son can do no wrong. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
But is it good, the Raja Beta culture that we see in India?
You know, I think that it really depends on how it is expressed, because you have to express some realities. And I don't
You have to
think
reflect what's there.
reflect what's there, but I don't think that it does it in a negative way. It just shows it for what it is. And the fact is that he is a lovely boy.
He is
Yeah.
definitely.
Sometimes it's the recognition, like acting is a form of, we recognize those characters. So obviously we have to go to a Raja Beta character to sort of, so people can relate to that, and then you
Yes.
can move on and
You know, there's a very interesting sequence in the film where the male lead says that you don't experience what the Brit Pakistanis or Pakistanis experience. They're brown, they're looked down upon. Each time there is a terrorist attack, there's a lot of suspicion of them. I mean, that's the reality, and it's good that the film puts forth. I mean, though it does it not in a major way. What do you have to say? Was that deliberate?
It doesn't hit people over the head with it,
Yeah.
with a message like that. But you're quite right. It mentions it, and it mentions it kind of in passing. But it's a reality that's what that community suffers. Has suffered in the UK and throughout the world whenever an incident takes place, and so, or scapegoating, what they call. So it's quite right. He did mention it in there, and I think you're saying it is a feel-good movie, and it is it's about other things, but it does not shirk away from
Yes.
issues. It's based in reality.
Yes. And we really love, how you talk about the different characteristics that you would want in your Bahu. But that
Yeah, lovely.
we love how
Lovely,
you put that
funny,
forth.
yeah.
Do you think it's right to sort of, have a very calculated approach towards love? I mean, assisted marriage, forced marriage is a calculated approach to love.
Forced marriage and assisted marriage are two completely different things. And in the beginning, because of the kind of progressive background I've come from, I didn't understand that idea. But the thing is, I see around me so many happy, successful marriages
That
which
are
have
arranged,
come,
arranged.
that have been arranged. So what the film is saying is very important. The film is not taking sides. The film is just creating empathy for a culture. Normally what we do is when we confront a culture which is other, then we immediately, because we don't understand it, we throw ourselves away from it.
Yeah.
What
Or we
this
use
does,
stereotypes of theirs.
and you use stereotypes. So I think what is very important is, I mean, this film is not preachy at all,
No.
but what it says is that we are separate, and we should celebrate the separateness.
Yes.
But we are separate but equal.
Also, what is it? Guldasta. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Like a
Bouquet, yeah.
Bouquet. Yeah, bouquet.
And I have to ask you this, Shabana ma'am. There are two different characters we see in the film. The girl, the female lead, is addicted to apps. That's what we see. She's addicted to apps. She's looking for love in different ways, like maybe the modern ways, social media platforms.
Swipe right, swipe left.
Yes,
Swipe,
and the male lead is very rooted in customs and beliefs. If you had to choose one between the two characters, who would Javed ji be and who would Shabana ji be? Maybe after so many years, if you had to choose, if you had to switch the roles, who would you want to take?
Neither. Neither.
But why?
Neither. No, because the thing is that we have come from completely
Yes.
different backgrounds. So there's no point in saying that, speculating that what would this be. We come from completely different cultures. But the thing is, if the film can create a climate of sensitivity in which it is possible for change to occur, that's what's important actually.
And what was that love at first sight with Javed sir?
Not really,
Yes.
because he was in and out of my house since he was 5 years old,
Yes.
and I don't know how it evolved. Such similar backgrounds, our parents are so similar. Our fathers, particularly, we've just come out with a book in which I have chosen 25 films of Shabana Azmi, and Javed has chosen 25 poems of Divya Azmi. And people say that we're so similar that we should have had an arrangement.
So for all those who feel arranged marriage is not an option for them, here's something that's coming from Shabana ma'am. Arranged marriage is not all that bad.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for speaking to us. And one last message to all your fans that they should be watching the film as soon as it hits the theatres.
What's Love Got to Do with It? Coming on 26th January all over the world. Please go wherever. Go and watch it in the theatres. You will enjoy it.
मेरा बेटा डॉक्टर बनेगा.
Thank you so much.